My fiancé said, "Cancel your promotion, I don't like the attention." I agreed out loud. Privately, I signed the offer letter. He found out at the worst possible moment. At 27, I was a woman working as a transit schedule designer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Evan Mercer was my fiancé, 38, and we'd been together 4 years. The stake was my $24,500 condo deposit and my 40% equity in our side startup. When he tried to shrink me before investors, I chose myself. Most mornings, I walked a loop through Squirrel Hill. I kept my pace steady for 2.6 miles. My mind liked patterns and clean edges. Bus routes, timing windows, repeatable decisions. At Keystone Metro Transit, my job looked boring outside. Inside, it was constant math and human behavior. If a line ran late, someone missed daycare pickup. If I misjudged a transfer, someone lost an hour. That responsibility made me careful. It also made me slow to trust charm. Evan was the opposite of careful. He lived for attention. He could turn a grocery run into a performance. He also loved building things from nothing. That part pulled me in. We met at a neighborhood volunteer cleanup on Murray Avenue. He was handing out gloves like a game show host. I was sorting trash bags by weight. He joked about my systems brain. I laughed, which surprised me. By the time we moved in together, my life had a new soundtrack. His voice on calls, his music in the kitchen, his plans on the fridge. He ran a small mobility app project from our spare room, a fictional company, all promise. Steel City Wayfinder. I helped him after work. Not because he forced me, because I believed in the mission. Better transit information mattered to me. We split roles without writing it down. I built the routing logic and reliability model. He built the brand and the pitch. Later, we did write it down. A simple operating agreement. His ownership was 60%, mine was 40%. We agreed on major decisions needing both signatures. That paper lived in my tangerine notebook pocket. The notebook was thick and slightly scuffed. I carried it like a second phone. It held meeting notes, drafts, and little warnings. My other habit was my brass key organizer. It kept my keys quiet and neat. Evan teased me for that too. "You organize metal," he said. "It stops chaos," I said. In Lawrenceville, I stopped at a fictional deli on Butler Street, Bridge and Barrel Deli. My usual cost $13.40 with a tip. I always sat by the window. I always opened my tangerine notebook first. I wrote what mattered. Numbers, names, next steps. That notebook saved me later. The big opportunity arrived in an email from a recruiter. A role in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Senior Service Planning Analyst at Northbridge Transit Analytics. The salary was $129,600. Sign-on bonus was $17,800. They offered 3 remote days each week. They also offered a team, not just me holding the whole map. I read the offer twice at our kitchen table. Evan was pacing behind me. He was getting ready for a pitch event, a private demo night at a venue near downtown Pittsburgh. A group called Granite Harbor Ventures was coming in town. He wanted them to fund Steel City Wayfinder. He wanted it badly. I said the words that felt dangerous. "I got a promotion offer," I said. He paused like I flipped a switch. "How much?" he asked. I told him. He made a face, not impressed, offended. "That's not you," he said. "It is me," I said. "It's attention," he said. "It's you leaving me," he said. I didn't fight him that night. I nodded. I let him calm down. I kept my voice soft. "Let me think," I said. He leaned in and kissed my forehead, like he'd won. After he went to bed, I opened my tangerine notebook. I wrote one line: "Don't negotiate with fear." Then I signed the offer letter on my laptop. I didn't celebrate. I didn't tell anyone. I just signed. The next day we toured condos in Shadyside. Our agent showed us a place near Walnut Street. The deposit to hold it was $24,500. Evan pushed me toward the paperwork. "See," he said, "we're planting roots." I looked at my brass key organizer. I imagined adding a new key. I also imagined being trapped. I paid the deposit from my account. Evan promised to reimburse half later. He said it like it was nothing. We left the showing and walked past a small street fair. Booths, music, kids on chalk drawings. Evan squeezed my hand. "I need you focused," he said. "Focused on what?" I asked. "On us," he said. His tone sounded sweet. The meaning felt sharp. 2 weeks after I signed the job offer, the betrayal began. It started small. Evan began calling me support on calls. He stopped introducing me as a co-founder. He started sending invites without my name. He scheduled investor prep sessions while I was at work. When I complained, he smiled. "You're busy," he said. "I'm being efficient," he said. Efficient was his favorite disguise. One night he asked me to print documents. He handed me a flash drive, a plain gray one. "Put the deck on this," he said. I held it between 2 fingers. "Why not email it?" I asked. "Too many eyes," he said. That made my stomach tighten. At the office, I used my laptop to load the deck. I didn't snoop for drama. I checked for accuracy. The file name was Wayfinder Founder Deck. Inside, the founder's slide showed one headshot, Evans. My name was in tiny text on a later page, under Operations Support. I stared so long my eyes dried out. I opened my tangerine notebook and wrote, "Deck edits erased." Then I wrote the time. Not a precise timestamp, just after lunch. I took a photo of the slide on my screen. No sharing, no posting, just proof. That evening I confronted him in our living room. The condo brochures were spread across the coffee table. My brass key organizer sat beside them. I wanted him to see it. I wanted him to understand I noticed details. "You removed me," I said. He didn't deny it. He tried to soften it. "It's positioning," he said. "You're sensitive," he said. "I built the reliability model," I said. "That's back-end," he said. "They pay for vision," he said. I set my tangerine notebook on the table. I opened it to our agreement clause. "Major changes require both signatures," I said. He gave a lazy smile. "We'll update paperwork later," he said. That was the first motive, control. He wanted to look like the sole genius. His second motive arrived the next week, money pressure. A vendor sent a late notice. Our startup's hosting bill was behind. Evan had been floating expenses on credit. He hadn't told me. He stood in the kitchen staring at his phone. "We need a bridge," he said. "What kind of bridge?" I asked. "A small loan," he said. "We pay it back fast," he said. I didn't say yes. I said one sentence. "Show me the terms," I said. He promised he would. He didn't. Instead, the night before the investor demo, he became extra nice. He cooked dinner. He cleaned the counters. He even lined up my shoes by the door. It felt like he was arranging a stage. "You're coming tomorrow," he said. "Of course," I said. "You'll help set up," he said. My chest tightened again. The venue was a fictional gallery space in the Strip District, the Allegheny Glass Hall. It had tall windows and white walls. The rental fee was $2,900 for the evening. Evan told me the number like it was a trophy. Inside, staff rolled in chairs and a projector screen. Evan handed me a tote bag. Inside were cables, adapters, and printed packets. "Put these on the tables," he said. I looked around. Every other founder had a partner beside them. Nobody else was carrying a tote bag. Evan adjusted his jacket. He didn't look at me. "You're doing great," he said, like I was a volunteer. I set up calmly. I placed packets. I taped a sign near the entry. Then I stepped back and watched. Evan's investor guests arrived in groups. They wore neutral colors and expensive calm. Evan greeted them like he was already funded. Then he did the thing that changed everything. He clinked a glass for attention. He stood in front of the screen. He smiled wide. "This is my company," he said. "I built this from scratch," he said. He pointed at me without my name. "She keeps things running," he said. Heat rushed up my neck. The room blurred at the edges. I forced my breath to slow. I touched my brass key organizer inside my pocket. Metal, steady, real. Evan continued. He said I was a big help. He said I was detail-oriented. He never said co-founder. He never said partner. A man near the front raised a hand. "What's your cap table?" he asked. Evan answered too fast. "Clean," he said. "Founder-owned," he said. I felt the word hit my ribs. Founder-owned, not founders. I didn't speak in that moment, not because I was weak, because I needed one more piece. After his pitch, people moved to the demo stations. I watched Evan talk to a woman in a gray blazer. She held a clipboard. She looked like diligence, not hype. Evan pointed toward me again. "Support," he said. The woman nodded politely, then she asked for documentation. Evan's smile wobbled. He turned and waved me over. "Bring the agreement," he said. "Bring the loan papers," he said. Loan papers. My stomach dropped. I kept my face blank. "What loan?" I asked. He blinked like he'd said it earlier. "The bridge," he said. "It's fine," he said. He lowered his voice. "I handled it," he said. I stepped back. I touched my phone. I opened my banking app. I searched transactions. There it was. A new withdrawal from my savings. Amount 8,200. Memo, bridge funding SCW. I stared until my eyes stung. I scrolled further. A new account had been added as a payee. The name was a fictional lender, Rivermark Capital Services. Another line appeared below. Amount 8,200 deposited. Memo, received joint guarantor. Joint guarantor. I didn't scream. I didn't slap his phone out of his hand. I did something quieter. I walked to the restroom hallway. I stood in a corner near a fire extinguisher. I opened my tangerine notebook. I wrote the memo line exactly. I wrote the amount. I wrote the lender name. Then I called my bank. The call lasted 18 minutes. The representative asked if I authorized the transfer. "I did not," I said. They asked if anyone had access. "My fiancé," I said. They placed a note on my account. They also suggested a credit freeze. I did it on my phone. 3 agencies, 3 confirmations, not revenge, protection. I returned to the gallery floor with my shoulders squared. Evan was still talking. He looked annoyed now. The woman with the clipboard asked again. "Operating agreement," she said. Evan gestured at me like I was late. I met her eyes. "I'm the co-founder," I said. Evan's smile snapped. The room felt suddenly quiet. The woman's gaze sharpened. "Then you should be on the founder slide," she said. Evan tried to laugh. "It's just a draft," he said. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I said one calm sentence. "I need to step outside," I said. Then I left. Outside, the city air felt cold. I walked 0.4 miles to a well-lit corner on Penn Avenue. I called an attorney. I didn't know one personally, so I used the state bar referral line. They connected me to Simone Hart, business, law, and contract disputes. Her retainer was 4,200. I agreed. I used my emergency fund. Evan had just reminded me why it existed. The next morning, Simone met me near downtown. Her office was in a renovated building on Smithfield Street. Not 3rd floor, not any of that, just a suite with a frosted door. She listened while I held my tangerine notebook open. I showed her the operating agreement clause. I showed her the bank transaction. I showed her the deck photo. Simone's face stayed calm. "That loan is the biggest problem," she said. "And the founder misrepresentation is the second," she said. She asked one question. "Do you want to save the relationship?" she asked. My throat tightened. I thought of his hand guiding me to sign condo papers. I thought of him pointing at me like a helper. I thought of the memo line saying joint guarantor. "I want to save myself," I said. Simone nodded. "Then we move fast," she said. She drafted a notice letter to Evan, not a threat. A demand to preserve records, a demand to produce the loan file, a demand to stop using my name. She also drafted a letter to Rivermark Capital Services. She requested their signed guarantee documents. She included my statement disputing authorization. She told me to keep communications in writing. I left her office and drove to my bank branch in East Liberty. The parking garage fee was $11. I didn't mind paying it. I wanted a paper trail. I sat with a banker in a glass office. I placed my brass key organizer on the table. I placed my tangerine notebook beside it. I asked for a printout of the transfer details. The banker slid it across. The memo line was there again. Memo, bridge funding SCW. Seeing it in ink made me feel steadier. I asked for a new account number. I asked to remove shared access. I asked for alerts on any new transfers. The banker typed and nodded. When I walked out, my phone buzzed. Evan called. I let it ring, then he texted. "Where did you go last night?" I didn't answer. Instead, I wrote in my notebook, "Do not engage without counsel." Over the next several days, I prepared quietly. I searched for housing in Minneapolis. I found an apartment in the North Loop area. The holding fee was $1,600. I paid it. I scheduled movers for later. The quote was $3,250. I booked it. I didn't tell Evan, not yet. I also took screenshots of everything, not to expose him, to protect myself. Bank memo lines, email confirmations, the condo deposit receipt. Every piece went into a secure folder. Evan tried to control the narrative at home. He started with charm. "You embarrassed me," he said. "I clarified facts," I said. He shifted to blame. "You made it weird," he said. "You made it dishonest," I said. He shifted to fear. "If they don't fund me, we're stuck," he said. "We were stuck when you used my name," I said. He started calling me names softly, not the same insult twice. "Uncooperative," he said. "Petty," he said. "Cold," he said. I didn't mirror him. I didn't throw words back. I just kept documenting. One night he tossed my tangerine notebook onto the couch. "You and your little diary," he said. "It's not a diary," I said. "It's evidence," I said. That word changed his face. He realized I wasn't emotional anymore. I was procedural. The showdown happened in Simone's office. Evan arrived wearing his pitch jacket. He looked tired but still proud. Simone greeted him with polite distance. Evan tried to talk to me first. "Babe, come on," he said. I kept my voice flat. "Talk to Simone," I said. Simone slid a document packet across the table. She spoke like she was reading a recipe. "This is a separation agreement," she said. "This is a release and indemnification," she said. "This is a repayment schedule," she said. Evan laughed once, sharp. "You can't do this," he said. Simone didn't blink. "You already did it," she said. She tapped one page. The loan guarantee request response had arrived. Rivermark sent a copy. My name was typed as co-guarantor. A signature that looked like mine was on it. Not mine, close but wrong. Simone tapped another page. The operating agreement clause. Major decisions require both signatures. Evan's jaw tightened. "That clause is flexible," he said. "It is not," Simone said. He turned to me, eyes glossy. "I needed it funded," he said. "I didn't have time," he said. There were his motives again. Pressure and ego. He wanted to look like a lone founder. He also wanted cash to cover his mistakes. Simone asked him a simple question. "Do you want civil exposure?" she asked. Evan swallowed. "No," he said. Simone nodded. "Then sign and unwind," she said. The room was quiet. I looked at my brass key organizer on the table, keys for our apartment, my office, my storage bin. I imagined separating them. I imagined silence. Evan stared at the papers. He tried one last jab. "You'd rather be a number in Minneapolis," he said. "I'd rather be respected anywhere," I said. He signed. Not gracefully, but he signed. The payoff came fast and it wasn't loud. Granite Harbor Ventures never called him back. They didn't send a rejection speech. They simply stopped responding. Investors don't argue with risk. They avoid it. Rivermark Capital Services also moved. They invalidated the guarantee as disputed. They demanded a new guarantor, not me. Evan couldn't replace me quickly. His bridge collapsed under its own weight. He had to sell parts of the project. A smaller firm bought the code base. Evan kept a modest consulting role, not the founder fantasy, just a job. My life shifted in the opposite direction. I gave notice at Keystone Metro Transit. I kept it professional. I avoided gossip. I packed my desk in 2 trips. My manager offered me a small retention bonus, $5,000 to stay. I declined. I had already chosen a different future. The moving day arrived with gray skies over Bloomfield. The movers loaded 22 boxes. I labeled them in my tangerine notebook. Kitchen, books, clothes, cables. Evan stood in the doorway watching. He didn't cry. He looked stunned. "You're really leaving," he said. "I already left," I said. I handed him one key from my organizer, not all of them, just the one that mattered for the lease transfer. He stared at the brass metal like it burned. At the airport, I sat by a window. I didn't buy anything. I didn't scroll. I opened my tangerine notebook again. I wrote down what I'd gained: time, clarity, safety. I landed in Minneapolis and felt the air bite my cheeks. The North Loop felt bright and busy. My new apartment was smaller than our Pittsburgh place, but it was mine. I hung a single framed print. I placed my brass key organizer on the counter. I placed my tangerine notebook beside it. Then I went for a walk. My new job was demanding in a clean way. Northbridge Transit Analytics had structure, a real team, a real review process. In my first week, I built a reliability dashboard. I found a transfer bottleneck that cost riders 9 minutes per trip. My team ran the numbers. They implemented a change. Ridership satisfaction jumped in the next report. My director thanked me in front of everyone, not as support, as the person who solved it. Money changed my breathing. I rebuilt my savings. I repaid the attorney retainer from my first 2 checks. I set up automatic transfers, amount $12.50 each payday. Memo, future. That memo line became my favorite. Memo, future. I saw it again and again. It reminded me why I did this. Back in Pittsburgh, consequences spread quietly. Evan tried to spin the breakup as mutual. He tried to say I lost interest. People didn't fight him on it. They just watched his company shrink. Clients dislike instability. Banks dislike disputed signatures. His story stopped working. He sent me messages anyway. At first they were defensive. You overreacted, he said, then they became sad. I miss our life, he said, then they became bargaining. I'll put you back on the deck, he said. I didn't respond. Simone told him all contact had to be in writing. He sent 1 email a month later. It was short, no manipulation, no blame, just words. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't answer that one either. I wanted to. My flaw was loyalty. It didn't disappear overnight. I just learned to aim it at myself. After 12 months passed, I returned to Pittsburgh for a friend's wedding. I didn't attend with Evan. I didn't even tell him I'd be in town. I stayed at a small hotel near Point State Park. I walked to the river and watched the water meet. 2 currents, 1 edge. I held my brass key organizer in my palm. The metal felt warm from my hand. I thought about how close I came to signing away my name. I thought about the bank memo line that exposed him. I thought about my tangerine notebook and how it kept me honest. That night, Evan sent a final message. It arrived like it had been rehearsed and then abandoned. I'm sorry I tried to make you small, he said. I was scared and selfish, he said. I replied once, polite and short. I accept your apology. I'm not returning, I said. Then I closed my phone. Here are the receipts that ended the argument. Email subject. Wayfinder founder deck, final copy, 08/06/2025 invoice NB 1184. Relocation holding fee North Loop Unit, 08/19/2025 email subject. Guarantee dispute acknowledgement, Rivermark Capital Services, 09/03/2025. I learned that love without respect turns into a trap. My boundary now is simple. Nobody uses my name without consent. If I could redo anything, I'd demand written clarity sooner. I don't hate Evan and I don't rewrite the past. I just protect the future I earned. Peace feels boring at first, then it feels priceless.